Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So this week's match is Battle of the Ancients, and I have selected to go with the blue alternative. So we're running blue AncientGarurumon here, and this deck is cool. It's gonna get better, but right now in this form, I still think it's pretty, I wouldn't say completely meta, but I think it's got some good potential. Combining it with Imperialdramon though, this is kind of spicy. I like it. But there's a couple different alternatives to play this deck, and we're going to cover both of them. There's two different ways. There's Imperialdramon and another way. We'll cover both. Don't worry. Let's get into this. Also, don't forget this month's Patreon reward is Upamon. So if you're going to be playing blue, you might be looking at Upamon for this format. As well, if you're playing yellow, you might also be looking at Upamon for that draw power. Both eggs are great. So having an Upamon of your own here is pretty awesome. These memory markers are handmade by my wife, and they are our Patreon reward for the month of June. Okay, so right off the bat here, looking at the deck profile, we have Upamon at a 4 of again. You might think, really? Over LadyDevimon? LadyDevimon is so much easier to trigger. Well, we're not running as much jamming anymore in blue because this isn't necessarily like a full-on Imperialdramon-like combination. So we're using a little bit of Imperialdramon stuff with the new AncientGarurumon stuff. So I think Upamon has a good place coming back in as our main egg. Also, with all the digi-bursting going on, I think that's what is really setting it up like on a whole nother level than it ever was before. Because with everyone just digi-bursting away all their Digivolution sources, Upamon is super live. So he's even easier now to trigger than he's ever been in the past. So that's why he's at 4 of, and the Demi is only at a 1 of. I still want to run 5 eggs though, just because we can just burn through eggs super fast in this deck. Blue really is good at drawing into resources to keep having resources in hand for more rookies. So we need lots of eggs in this deck, okay? Just we'll leave it at that. 5 eggs, pretty standard for blue. I would stick with it for sure. Next up, we've got Vmon here. This is our jamming Vmon. I mean, you know who he is. You love him. Probably still the best rookie in the game, or at least really close to it. He does have some competition now with BT4 and some other promos, but I mean, you see everyone that runs like a combination deck of multiple colors, a lot of times they'll go with a blue core. So they'll go like 4 Demi Vmons and then 4 Vmons and 4 Gomamons, just because the Vmon can trigger the Demi Vmon so easily for that draw power, and the hard playing Gabu for the 1 draw is also more draw power, and then Vmon just jamming, and so it's like you get a swing, clear a security, and either they let it go and you can swing again next turn to clear another security for free, or they have to waste an attack and kill it. So it's always pretty much a 2-for-1, which I absolutely love about the jamming Vmon. So of course we're going to play Meta 4 of. Next up, of course, we got the Gomamon here. Gomamon making a comeback. There for a time, some people were playing him less and less. I think he's still just a phenomenal card. I mean, a draw, no matter if you're digivolving or playing, is always great. Being able to draw into our like main combo pieces in this deck is super important. So we need draw power, and so naturally we're going to run Gomamon. If we're playing blue and we need draw power, we're playing Gomamon. Next up, we've got a new addition to the deck here. We've got Strabimon. Just every edgelord's favorite Digimon right here. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 Digimon card with hybrid in its form and or 1 Tamer card among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards on the bottom of the deck in any order. So hard play this for 3, reveal the top 3, and then you can add essentially 2 cards to hand, potentially. So while Gomamon is a 1 draw and it's whatever it is, you can add it to your hand. Strabimon's a little more limited, but at the same time, it's opens up so much. So I'll tell you now, we're already playing 4 Tamers. So in addition to all the hybrids you can draw into, so we got Lobomon here at a 4 of. We also have the other Lobomon here, which is at a 2 of. That's the one where you digivolve on top of the Tamer. So that's 8 that's 6, 10, 10 targets plus his other copies of himself. So now we're up to 13 copies out of a 50 card deck that you can potentially reveal off the top 3. That's pretty good. So yeah, definitely liking Strabimon. And last up here, I went ahead and just threw in the Gomamon just as a kind of just to round us off at 14 rookies. You know, a 2 cost play, but the thing is, we already have 2 Digimon that are at 8 that are our plays. So while the Gomamon, you can, discretionary digivolve it or play it, the Strabimon you really do want to hard play. So hard playing the Gomamon doesn't come up as much anymore. Unfortunately, just the days of being able to hard play a 2 cost vanilla rookie are kind of going away, just because there's so many good Digimon now that are rookies that are play costs of 3 that it's just hard to convince yourself to not play these super powerful rookies just to save yourself 1 memory. So he is really cut down pretty significantly. So, but I feel like you still want him though, right? You still want just the option to have him. The alternative was I could just go back to the old Gomamon, the on deletion gain 1 memory. I mean, that is still a possibility. It's still a great Digimon, so don't overlook that one either. And now we're getting starting to get into like the meat and potatoes here. Now we see the Lobomon. This is the promo Lobomon. This is not the main set one. So when digivolving, this Digimon can digivolve into an AncientGarurumon in your hand for a memory cost of 1, ignoring its Digivolution requirements. If it does, delete this Digimon at the end of the turn. This thing is super cool. Okay, so you digivolve it in a hit, and then you can immediately digivolve into the level 6 form. So for 1 cost. So even the Agumon for red, it takes a digivolve cost of 2 to still do that, and you have to attack with it. This is just on when digivolving, so that is phenomenal. Let's go ahead and jump down there to that AncientGarurumon though, just so we can kind of see what we're working with here. Like I said, this is a Imperialdramon combo deck, so don't get surprised seeing it there. So when attacking, once per turn, you may unsuspend up to 2 of your Digimon with Garurumon in their names or hybrid in their forms. So and also remember with the Lobomon, at the end of the turn it gets deleted, so you'll be able to trigger your on deletion effect fairly easily. On deletion, you may play 1 blue level 4 or lower Digimon with hybrid in its form from your hand without paying its memory cost. So essentially, you're going to go from your level 4 into the Ancient, right? And essentially, after you do your stuff during your turn, he's going to de-digivolve in a way. It's not actually de-digivolving, but like for continuity's sake, I guess, is a way to look at it, is he powers up for a brief moment for a big push and then comes back down into its level 4 state. So just kind of neat there that you can do that. It does just kind of help set up next turn plays as well. Unfortunately, the other one is when digivolving, so you can't set up the same play again the next turn. That is a bit unfortunate, but you can do that with red, so that's kind of neat with red, is because they can swing, right, go up into the 6, do their big swing, and then go back down into another of the same level 4, so that's kind of neat. But yeah, so he's still a great Digimon. Essentially though, you're going to unsuspend himself, so he's going to swing and he's going to unsuspend himself, so you're going to get 2 attacks out of this guy, and for 1 memory, and he's a 13,000, so you're swinging over pretty much most things in the meta. Most things in the meta are 11,000. There's a few 13s depending on the Nidhogg's that you've got to run into, but everything else is low. So he's going to be running over most everything that's going to be prominent in the meta. So I love that about this guy. So yeah, and he's at a 4 of to combo off with our Lobomons. We are playing some level 5s. If you do need to digivolve into him, you can still do that. Say you go into this Lobomon and you're waiting for that AncientGarurumon to show up and you just can't get one in your hand, so you need to just digivolve on top of this guy and keep going. His inheritable is when digivolving one of your Digimon into an AncientGarurumon, in your hand, reduce its Digivolution cost by 2. So it takes that 5 Digivolve cost into a 3, which is pretty standard for most megas, is a 3 evolution cost. And with a Memory Fixer Tamer on field, it'll still be your turn, so you can still swing with it and still get that double swing out of the AncientGarurumon. And he's going to stay on field because you Digivolved him the normal way and not with this Lobomon. So all around, I mean, I love that we've got 2 effects, right? So we've got this like quick little one-shot jab, or I guess it's kind of like a double-shot jab, right? And then we go back, and then later on we can also use the inheritable if we need to go that route as well. So yeah, this Lobomon is awesome. Also, I think there was a clarification on this text. It says when digivolving one of your Digimon into AncientGarurumon. I'm pretty sure they changed it to says when digivolving this Digimon into AncientGarurumon, so your AncientGarurumon has to go on top of this one, okay? So to get this inheritable for the reduction. Next up, we have the XVmon here. If you've been playing 1.5 Blue or Rookie Rush, you know how valuable this is. If you've played against those decks, you know how valuable XVmon is. This is a game-winning card. I mean, so many games have I just swung with a rookie and cleared the last security and then dropped an XVmon on that rookie that survived. Usually a jamming Vmon to unsuspend just to swing for game. It's only a 2 memory cost. It's pretty cheap, and again, you're going to be playing 4 memory fixers, so you'll always should have the memory, especially when you're trying to push for game, as well as even just not pushing for game. It's great. Again, using in combination with Vmon, get a free swing, get a security check, go into this XVmon to unsuspend, and then you can go into a level 5 on top of it, and now you're unsuspended, so you're nice and safe. Yeah, it's a great combo piece for sure. And at a 4 of, like I said, he is a game like stealing piece for sure. So just both of these guys are great. The Lobomon at a 2 evolution cost, and the 1 evolution cost here for its ability to go into the Ancient. With a Memory Fixer, you'll still be able to swing, and I think that's what is great about the design standpoint of this one over the red version. Is reducing that cost is you need to be able to still swing with it after you do this. So having they're basically counting on you having a Memory Fixer to get this combo off. So yeah, these guys are great. Moving on here, we've got the Lobomon, like I already mentioned before. This is the one that digivolves on top of Tamers. Basically treats your Tamers as rookies for the same color. And yeah, he's again another great piece that just steals games. You swing with all your stuff and you need one more swing. That Tamer, that memory fixing Tamer that you've had on field for the whole game, okay, well, if you're trying to win this turn, you don't need that memory fixing Tamer anymore. He's already done its duty. You go on top of him with a Lobomon, and now you can swing for game. That's why we're only playing it at a 2 of, though, is because, like I said, he is a game-winning piece and not just something that you're just going to keep bringing out. So we got the 2 copies because you want to see him at least once in a game and hold on to it until you need it, and you don't want to be drawing multiples of it. So that's why we have a 2 of. At a 1 of, I don't think it's common enough to rely upon it. So that's we got to bump it at least to a 2 of. But I think more than that, and you run the risk of drawing multiple copies and it being kind of a dead card. Sure, you can just use it as a level 4 stepping stone into a 5. But that's not really what we're looking for here. We have other Digimon that can serve that purpose as well. Next up, I have the 2 Grizzlymons in here. This is a very aggro deck that's meant to win quickly. So having blockers in here, it kind of slows us down. It's like you wouldn't run a blocker in a Rookie Rush deck, right? Because you're just trying to win as fast as possible before your opponent can have a chance to accumulate a board and build up a presence. So that's what the Grizzlymon, he's only at a 2 of. Just in case for kind of like really kind of emergencies, if you really need to stop your opponent from attacking you, you know, whatever the case may be, you're playing against green OTK and you really need to get a block, you know, you see them, they're setting up in their raising area, they've got something big coming, get a Grizzlymon out there just to have on hand to deal with that green OTK. So just 1 of, because you're only going to be able to do it once, so just be ready for it. The green OTK is a very prominent deck right now. So, but yeah, so just a 2 of, though, just to slow them down. Also, in this week's match, going against the red deck, they're kind of doing the similar premise, is they just swing for all your security in 1 attack. having Grizzlymon on field to stop that one big attack is kind of the big go-to plan. All right, now we're gonna into our level 5s. So this is where it gets super interesting. Okay, so first up is Beowulfmon. I'm actually putting together a video of kind of underrated Digimon of BT4 that just aren't really getting talked about. Although I feel like they're actually still really good. They're just getting outshined by other things that are really good. So Beowulfmon is really neat. So he is jamming, which really plays into a lot of what Blue has going on from 1.5, because they were doing a whole lot of jamming stuff with Imperialdramon. Except this guy's other ability is on your opponent's turn, when this Digimon's Digivolution source cards include a Digimon with hybrid in its form or a blue Tamer, which at that point it should also have a hybrid. The level 4 that went on top of that Tamer should be a hybrid in theory. I don't know how you could combo that where it wouldn't be, but it can't be attacked. So if you go on top of a Lobomon here, or this Lobomon, or on top of the Strabimon, right, any of these, if it Digivolves and it has those in the source, any one of them, then you can't attack it. So while this Digimon's Digivolution cards include a Tamer with hybrid in its form, blue Digimon or blue Digimon Tamer, it can't be attacked. So you can swing with this with its jamming, clear a security, and normally you would have to, just kind of pray your opponent doesn't, run you over or whatever. What happened in a lot of previous times was with like Imperialdramon and Dinobemon was you would swing with them, get that jamming off, and then go into an Imperialdramon to unsuspend. But sometimes that would pass your turn, and it would just feel, lacking. Okay. This way, though, if you can't get into the Imperialdramon, or you don't want to go into the Imperialdramon just for your opponent to kill it, like a Trump Sword or Gaia Force or whatever removal, you don't want to lose your level 6, your Mega, you can just leave him on field suspended and go into something else and just get more, go wider on your field. Just as a little bit of insurance, say you want to just hard play out a Vmon here. So now, next turn, it's going to come back to you. You've got this Beowulfmon that's going to unsuspend because they couldn't kill it. And you're going to swing again with him, and then swing with like your jamming Vmon. Now you're going to go into the Imperialdramon, now that you're not going to pass your turn anymore, to unsuspend. So he's going to unsuspend himself and the Vmon. So I think it's a really great kind of combo piece. Combine it with the Imperialdramon here. Now, you got to remember, though, if you go on top of him with Imperialdramon, it's not going to be reduced. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be a full 5 evolution cost for Imperialdramon to drop it on top of the Beowulfmon. However, you can go on top of the AncientGarurumon if you have this Lobomon underneath. So he's got some good combo potential. Just by himself, he's just a really good beater. Just keep swinging every turn, and your opponent can't do anything about him. All your opponent's Devimons out there with its retaliation, nothing. You don't have to worry about any of it. Just anything running it over. He's just going to swing turn after turn after turn for free. So really cool card. Next up, we have, of course, Imperialdramon, the better of the two, in my opinion, just because you can essentially get 3 attacks off with your Digimon in one turn with him over the Dinobemon, which would be like 2. So, yeah, he's great. 3 evolution cost for your blues there. That's pretty standard for a 5. He's got jamming, and then his inheritable here is what lets him unsuspend again. So you're going to swing with him, Digivolve the Imperialdramon Dragon Mode on top of him to unsuspend with his own effect, unsuspend all jamming, swing, again, that's swing number 2, and then you're going to use Imperialdramon's effect to unsuspend him again and swing again for a 3rd time. So if you played 1.5, you probably came across Imperialdramon. We're doing the same stuff, we're just doing it in a smaller package. You notice we only have the 2 here. Yeah, it's a little bit surprising, right? Again, we're only going to Digivolve this one on top of primarily the Imperialdramon. And again, Imperialdramon's still just putting in work as a jamming. And you don't even necessarily need to go into him because the rest of the stuff down here is already doing a lot of work. The Lobomon here is our kind of our main go-to, right? Because it's 1 Digivolve cost to go into this Ancient Garurumon, which is going to get 2 swings at 13,000, and he's going to replace himself at the end of the turn when he blows up. So yeah, it's kind of a combo, like I said, of the 2 decks. Now in BT6, this deck will come back, so we don't really see it used a whole lot. It's not like a super high tier meta deck. It does have some potential, and it's, you know, a lot of fun, but it's not top tier by any means. But in BT6, it actually kind of is. Right now in BT6 in Japan, this deck dropping the Imperialdramon and gaining the Bonds Gomamon. Now you're using Ancient Garurumon and Bonds together, and it's kind of doing the same thing of we're jumping from these rookies and level 4s straight into a mega. So you're completely taking out all the level 5s, and you're just skipping all the way to the top with these megas that are swinging for like 2-3 times a whole bunch in one round. So that's the idea that you're going to be doing in BT6. Next up is Davis here, and Davis is our memory fixer for blue that we just love. You play him, you reveal the top 3 cards, you get to add a blue or a green if you're playing green. So far we haven't revealed any green stuff. I do have a variant that will involve some green, which we'll cover after this. And he's great. He's a memory fixer. He's going to fix your memory for most of the games. We have it as a 4 of. Used to we wouldn't quite maximize so heavily on this, but we really want to get our memory fixer as soon as possible. And now with the new Lobomon, we're not really wasting him if we get him out. So we'll see value especially if we get more on field with the Lobomon. So that's when we're running him at a 4 of now, just because it's not going to be wasted getting multiples out. All right, next is, of course, good old classic Hammer Spark. If you're playing blue, I cannot imagine ever playing blue without Hammer Spark. It's just so phenomenal. 0 cost, gain 1 memory. I mean, it's just great for getting plays. You can make plays where there previously was no play to make because you didn't have the memory to do it. Hammer Spark is just really good. It also helps you memory choke your opponent, just getting that 1 extra, so now you get it yourself up to 2. You know, play that rookie, that 3 cost rookie, to put your opponent at 1. I mean, it's just all around great. Also, a security effect, gain 2 memory. Just how many games have people won and lost because of a Hammer Spark getting hit in security? I know it's happened to me, both in my favor as well as in my opponent's favor. Just hitting a Hammer Spark in security, it happens. Also, being able to play a Hammer Spark so that way you can get around hitting a Hammer Spark in security. Yeah, so just loving me some Hammer Spark for sure. Also, with green OTK, you know, having Hammer Sparks in security might be what saves you from getting OTK'd from green. So just kind of keep that in mind, because typically they're going to go into their Grand Kuwagamon, and that's going to put them at 0. So 1 Hammer Spark is all it takes to pass that turn back to you. So completely shut them down. Yeah, just phenomenal card. All right, so as the deck is right now, we're technically at 48 cards, as with everything I've shown you, with the ratios like they are. So the last 2 slots are kind of like a little flex spot. Just kind of decide what you want to do, where you want to go. Like I said, so the deck is kind of an aggro deck here. So if you want to go with the Puppetmon, which Puppetmon was typically used in Imperialdramon, just run it at a 2 of. You know, you'll get that 1 extra shot there. At a 2 of, it's a little less reliable. You would want to kind of maximize on it in previous Imperialdramon decks. So just kind of take that as it is. It is definitely interesting though, and a great card. I've never regretted, I don't think, having a Puppetmon in my deck. There's always pretty much been a game where I'm like, oh man, I'm glad I had that Puppetmon. You know, if I'm running Puppetmon, I'm probably going to get some use out of it at some point, some way or another. But the other one here is to go with the option Cocytus Breath, and that's just going to return one of your opponent's Digimon to its owner's hand. I mean, yeah, if you're going to, again, kind of looking at the threats of the current meta, we got a lot of yellow and a lot of green OTK. If they hit this in security, that's going to mess them up so bad, especially if it's like the first couple hits in security. Yes, that's so good for you for sure, because bouncing that Grand Kawagamon on that first swing after he's Digiburst 2, everything away, you know, they're all in on this big OTK, and you bounce that Grand Kawagamon back to hand after a single security check. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. As well as just kind of just generic removal. I mean, what deck doesn't like some sort of removal option? Unfortunately, returning to the hand isn't the best, but it's blue, and this is kind of what we got, and there's no stipulation for suspended or unsuspended, so that's, you know, the best we can do. And I think at a 2 of, it's not a bad thing here to just to have included if you didn't want to go with the double Puppetmon. So 2 of 1 of these is what I would do if you're going to go with this combination of Imperialdramon and AncientGarurumon. Now that that's the core of the deck and just a raw blue kind of build to it. Now we're going to go into the green variant, and this is kind of like a Rookie Rush, sort of, but it's not actually Rookie Rush, but we are using kind of the green elements of Rookie Rush. So you can run 4 of each of these guys. As a BT4, green got just a second copy, whereas other decks are struggling just to get 1 copy. Green now has 2 of these. Just a play cost of 2 for a 5k DP is just really good. It gets around a whole lot of stuff. Volcanicdramon doesn't touch this, which is, you know, used to be at least, you know, a tech option. Now you don't really see it anymore at all. So Volcanicdramon not even going to touch them. Yellow has that new Digimon that on Digivolve, it lowers everything your opponent has by 4,000. Still not enough to kill these guys. So they got to put in more work to finish them off. Yeah, so both of them are pretty great. You can run these at 8, and I'll tell you what we're going to take out in just a minute. So yeah, we're going to run both of these, 4 each, so 8 in total. And then you're going to run your option cards here at 4 of 1 of these. You have Flower Cannon, which good old classic Flower Cannon. They hit in security, suspend all your opponent's stuff, you know, they're locked down. However, a Flower Cannon in security against green OTK will do you nothing. Okay, they're going to keep checking securities. They're already suspended, so it's not going to stop the security checks. Okay, so Flower Cannon's not going to do anything against that. Against other things, though, yellow, you know, it can still stop the Greymon from attacking again, or, you know, attacking again, triggering another Angelwomon to play another rookie from hand, or if they did play a rookie already, like a Bushi Agumon, right? So they've got the Bushi on field and the newly unsuspended Greymon. You could suspend both of those and anything else that they've got. So it does have its uses against yellow for sure. But again, it's not going to really do anything against Grand Kawagamon. Now the other one is the Positron Laser. While yes, it is an expensive 6-cost card over the measly little 2 here, as a 2, you can play this, suspend a blocker, and then push for game super easily. But with the Positron, it's very rarely are you going to have the memory to play this and still have a turn to do something afterwards. But its security effect is outstanding to help kind of balance out the use for this card. So main, up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon can't attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. So say they go in with the Grand Kawagamon, this won't stop the rest of his security checks, but it will stop them from being able to go into a Chaosmon on top of the Grand Kawagamon. So then they're not going to be able to finish you off with the Chaosmon. As well as you can pick another target, make sure in case they had, I don't know, 2 level 6s on field, or if they didn't have another level 6, so you could pick both of those. If they didn't have another level 6, if there's a blocker in your way, you know, you can also pick the blocker, so then you can push back the following turn with that as well. So I like just having the option available there on that. Then if you have a blue Digimon in play, return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to its owner's hands. So again, now we're talking here. So kind of like the Kikaitis Breath here in the beginning, we get a bounce. So essentially he's going to do the same thing as Kikaitis. and we're going to get a bounce something. So if this is the first thing they hit in security, boom, just bounce that puppy back to hand. So the security effect, I'll go ahead and read that. Up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon can attack for the turn. Then if you have a blue Digimon in play, return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to its owner's hand. So it's going to do the same thing as the main effect, essentially. So yeah, just an outstanding card for sure. So much like potential that it can do to just stop your opponent. And I absolutely love it. So at a 4 of, we have a decent chance of it ending up in security and just being able to stop your opponent from just finishing you off. So either bouncing a Grand Quagamon back to hand or a Chaosmon, just being able to stop things from attacking is already really good. So if you didn't have a blue Digimon on field for whatever reason, at least you'll still get to stop the Chaosmon from attacking on that same Digimon. So yeah, Positron Laser, very, very good. So one of these two at a 4 of. I wouldn't do 2 and 2. I think you should maximize on one of them just because you're going to want one of them more than the other, I think, just depending on your playstyle. Me personally, I do say the Positron Laser just because I've had this blowout games way more than Flower Cannon has. So yeah, so that's 12 that we're looking to trade in on, right? So we need to find 12 to drop out. So I think it's kind of simple. So we're going to drop the Imperialdramons here as well as the Imperialdramon. So that's going to put us at 6. And then you can easily drop these two guys because essentially your options down here are going to do the same thing. So that's going to put us at 8. So then we need to drop 4 more. And honestly, you could just drop the Beowulfmon because at this point you don't really need to Digivolve onto a level 5 as much. You're just going to go straight into the AncientGarurumon with the Lobomon itself. So, or you could drop him down to 3 and keep 1 Beowulfmon if you wanted to do it that way as well. Just because having 4 Lobomons to go into the AncientGarurumon could be a little difficult. However, with the Strabimon, you can at least get into this Lobomon pretty quickly. We got a lot of draw power going on as well as a lot of search power going on. Between the Strabimons and the Davises and just the crazy draw power that this deck has, you should be able to dig into exactly what you're looking for, whether it be the Lobomons or the AncientGarurumons. Just they've got the power to do it. So just dropping your level 5s here, your Imperialdramons, and whatever 2 combination that you picked here to drop in these 12, and now you've got kind of this super aggro, not quite Rookie Rush deck. It's like a Rookie Rush hybrid. I mean, not even hybrid as in like pun here because it's a hybrid, deck using a lot of these hybrids, but it's almost the same Rookie Rush deck that we saw in 1.5. Just now we've got a few little added things with the Lobomons, and then the AncientGarurumons. And essentially, it's still kind of just Rookie Rush, but with a little bit more power, just because you're going to, for 3 memory, right, you're going to go into a level 4 on top of your countless blue rookies here, and then go into an AncientGarurumon, and that's going to put you at 2 attacks at 13,000 DP to get over most everything. So whereas Rookie Rush really lacked was it could never get over anything big, now you can get over something big because of the AncientGarurumon. Just at that massive 13,000 is crazy. Also, if there's just something, a threat you need to get off the field, AncientGarurumon can probably just crush over it, honestly. So great card for essentially Rookie Rush. And that's the total deck. I know people are probably tired of Rookie Rush, but I think of the decks, it's probably the more powerful version. But I think the first version I went over is a little bit more fun and a little bit more traditional, I guess, in a way of speaking, just with the Beowulfs and actually digivolving into the AncientGarurumon. It's kind of interesting. The power of Imperialdramon with its multiple attacks with jamming. I mean, again, you're getting 3 swings here if you have the Imperialdramon on field to go with the Imperialdramon. So yeah, 3 swings is a little bit more than 2, and it has jamming on top of that. Yeah, this is great. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and comment, as well as subscribe if you haven't already. If you enjoy this type of content, I try to put it out as much as possible, so definitely subscribe. Also, if you really enjoyed the content, check out my Patreon. I have a link in the description below for it. You can get access to my Discord server, as well as if you're a Dragon Village M fan, account takeovers where I help you out with your account. If you're a Digimon fan, I've got monthly giveaway. Well, not even giveaways. I've got monthly merch that's specific to Patreon. Stuff like memory counters, custom made. This is the baby form of Vmon here. There's going to be more in the works also. So lots of memory counters, all kinds of awesome Digimon merch. So definitely check out that tier. And if you're just all out crazy, there's other tiers if you're that dedicated. As well as check out my Teespring. I've got awesome merch there. You know, official Battle Ready Ink merch. Awesome phone cases for you Digimon fans out there. They've got them for iPhones as well as Samsungs. So they are super sweet. If you've seen the last Digimon movie, that's where these are from. I had a friend of mine custom make these so that way they fit perfectly on these phone cases. They look super good. So definitely check those out. But at the end of the day, if you can't do any of that, just like I said, like the video. That helps a ton. And subscribe. It doesn't hurt, but it helps me. So that's what's the real benefit. And as always, I'll see you next time.